If you walk into a tattoo shop today and ask for a Polynesian tattoo, you are usually looking for a collection of symbols that look cool. But in Samoa, the Tatau is not a piece. It is a living, breathing social contract. It is visual proof that you belong to a people. And even more importantly, it resembles that you are ready to serve those people. Today, we're going deep into the sociology and the structure of the Samoan mark. We're going to define the players, the different suits for men and women, and the radical difference between the two. We aren't just talking about ink here. We're talking about the Fa Samoa, the Samoan way of life. Let's start by defining the Tufuga, Tatau. What? I don't know if I'm saying it right. In the rest of the world, we have tattoo artists. But in Samoa, there's the Tufuga. And this word doesn't just mean someone who draws on the skin. It comes from the root word of expert or master builder. The Tufuga is a high-ranking member of the society because he holds, or rather is the gatekeeper to identity. He doesn't just work on a client. He works on what they call a Soga'imiti. I'm probably botching the pronunciation of these words. But this is the youth that is transitioning into a man of service. The Tufuga is often accompanied by his own guild, his assistants, and even a group of singers. This is because the process is so long and so painful that the environment has to be controlled. So the Tufuga is not just managing the needle, he's managing the spiritual and physical safety of the person in the chair. Now, let's define the pia, which is the male garment. The pia is a traditional male tattoo. The word itself refers to a flying fox or a bat, more specifically, a fruit bat. If you look at the finished work, the solid sections of black, the way they wrap around the legs and around the groin area, mimics the way that the wings of a bat would wrap around the body. But the pia is not just body art, it is a lava of ink. A lava is a traditional Samoan wraparound skirt that the men wear. So by getting the pia, it is almost as if you become permanently dressed. So historically, a man without a pia was called a telefua, which means naked. So even if this man was wearing clothes, he would be considered socially naked because he had not yet proven his endurance or his commitment to his family. The pia is dense and it's heavy. It covers everything from the navel to the knees. It is almost designed to be a suit of armor that signifies that a man is ready to carry the burdens and responsibilities of being a man, be it going to war or serving his family or his chiefs. This now brings us to the Malu, which is female balance. There is a massive misconception that Samoan women don't get tattooed, or rather they don't get traditional tattoos. They do, and it's called a Malu. But the Malu is different from the pia in both technical application and social meaning. While the pia is about heavy saturation and strength, the Malu is more about lightness and protection. The word Malu itself in Samoa means to protect or shelter. It is also the word for a traditional Samoan horse. I don't know why that is, but that's what I found from my research. And that is the Fale. That is the name of a horse in Samoa. The Malu covers the thighs from just below the hips to just above the knees. It is not solid black. It is composed of fine, delicate, open patterns. A woman with a Malu is seen as a protector of the family's grace, while the man's pia says, I'm strong enough to serve. The woman's Malu says, I'm the shelter of our culture. It is actually a mark of status, traditionally reserved for daughters of chiefs, the Tatau. I think that's the word for princess. Even though now today it is more widely practiced. Now, Let us look at the significance of placement. In Samoan tattooing, the body is a map of social hierarchy. For example, the back of the spine, where the pia starts, represents ancestors and the support for the family. Navel is the link to birth and the future. The groin and inner thighs represent the most private and vulnerable parts of the human experience. This is why the pia specifically covers those areas with solid black. It is symbolic protection of a man's virility and future legacy. Malu, however, leaves the knees and the shin mostly clear, focusing more on the thighs. This is because a woman in Samoa is typically the one performing the traditional dance called the siva. So the malu is actually designed to be seen while the woman is dancing. It enhances her movements, making her legs appear as if they are shimmering with light and patterns. Basically, art in motion. Finally, I think we have to also talk about the trial of the needle. Because these tattoos are done with the owl, I don't know how to pronounce it. It is spelled A-U. That's the traditional bone-toothed rack along with a striking stick. The pain is systematic. It's not just a sting. It's more of a rhythmic, percussive trauma that lasts for weeks. So if a man quits his pia halfway into the session, a pala eye, he carries the unfinished marks that he could not finish his transition into manhood. This is why the male client is tattooed alongside his partner, or a brother, or even a cousin. They suffer together so they don't quit together. This shared trauma is what builds the bond of the community. So you're not just getting a tattoo, you're literally surviving a rite of passage with a peer. And why am I telling you all of this, you might ask? For one, it's interesting, because it was interesting to me, so I figured it might be interesting to you. But I also want us to stop treating these designs like they're just cool designs. It's a full-on culture, not just a catalog of designs. When you ask for a tribal piece, you're borrowing from 2,000 years old system of traditions. At Alice Tattoos, I try to bring the same level of respect to every custom piece that I do. I might not be using a bone rack and we might not be in a Samoan village, but the fundamental truth remains. What we put on our skin defines who we are to the world. If you've managed to watch it up until this point, thanks for watching. I really would like to hear your thoughts or opinions about Polynesian tattoos. Would you like one? Have you had one done? Do you know someone who has one? How much research have you done before getting one? Because they come with so many different meanings. I'd really like to explore, or rather start a conversation about this specific topic or subject. That's it for this video. Until next time, ciao. 37.